I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the fifth qualification round of the international qualification cycle for the 2025 Carcassonne Champions League. We're approaching the end of the year and the end of the cycle as we are in the final of the lower brackets of the first group of the second qualification. I know it's a lot of different qualifications where Otto Ikonen of Finland with a screen name Nallerheim, the reigning silver medalist of the Mind Sports Olympiad, will be playing the reigning Belgian champion 71 Knives. That's Carl Verheiden from Belgium. Interestingly, that will be a rematch. This couple has already met earlier. As you can see from this bracket over here, that was still in the upper bracket. So first of all, 71 Knives defeated Ivan Bell of the Netherlands 2-0, and then they played Nallerheim in the quarterfinals. Lost 2-0, that sent them to the lower bracket, where they quite convincingly defeated Asketos of Greece and Rodas of Moldova, and now they are here. As for Nallerheim, so predictably as they are the top seed in this group and the highest rated player, they started out really well by first of all defeating 71 Knives, as mentioned earlier, but then there was this stunning upset as the Australian player with a screen name Me Got No Skill, contrary to his screen name, managed to defeat the Finnish master and send him to the losers brackets instead. This is where Nallerheim managed to defeat Ivan Bell 2-0, and now they're here. And interesting, so whoever loses this match, of course, is going to be eliminated from this tournament. It is a double elimination format, and each of these players have a loss. And whoever wins, they will be playing in the consolidated final against the aforementioned Australian player for a place in the main stage of the Champions League. So if Nallerheim wins, we're going to see a rematch. If 71 Knife wins, we're going to see something new. Your usual best of 3 encounter, standard rules, and the game has started. Nallerheim, traditional camouflagey green meeples, and Carl with his usual yellow. The starting player advantage for the Finn, and the first points go to Nallerheim's scoreboard, who now start to road. A couple of bits of pieces already initiated by yellow too. Interesting idea now. So what you're going to do with this tile, a variety of options. I guess the move that jumps out to me is just this: 2 points over here, road end pointed to the left, and chances to finish a 6-point road, and the Belgian finds it. It is the most efficient move. It has some downside, of course. For example, this is a bit of a sensitive square next to yellow city. There's some situations where the city gets blocked. For example, the combination that could get yellow blocked is a straight line and a curve. Oh, wait. Was 71 the starting player? Yeah, okay, actually I messed this one up. Thank you, Wise Mace, for correcting me. Also, hi Temrak, hi Andres. Alright, so we can see how Nallerheim starts a new city, at the same time obstructing the Belgian city over here. Yeah, so of course players will be very efficient with their tiles. They will be trying to make multi-purpose moves, such as this one, starting a city for themselves and obstructing one of their opponents. Then players exchange road moves, so the 6-point loop idea is still alive, except that with a green meeple over here, it is just will be shared in most likelihood. The first mile issue goes to Nallerheim and his meeple in the highest scoring spot, controlling yellow city and supporting green's road. So a fantastic spot there. But a good tile for Carl as well. Probably gonna go over there and meeple a city cap. So this will actually have the tiny... No. Okay, that's actually not that bad. It's not that bad, actually. It has some merits. So the reason why I'm not a huge fan of this move is that it's just a less safe way of continuing the city. But it ends up not mattering. The move that I would have preferred is the same move, but just with one square to the left. So that simply would have been starting a new city in a safer way. But I guess what yellow didn't want to do, yellow didn't want for there to be a 2-point road sticking into green city, and that's where green's merit is. For example, had yellow chosen my move, of course they would have green would have been able to score 3 points now. But you see, this is sort of the same case anyway. So green is able to take advantage of this road piece and then some. The difference is that once yellow goes here, which they will, hi Napalm, then there will be some chances of blocking that meeple, which makes it slightly better. Yeah, so it's a really thin trade-off, right? So I'm kind of very difficult to assess what is better, to start your city in a safer position or to make sure that your opponent's future road is in a bit more vulnerable position. Well, it ends up not mattering, and I believe that this was a bit of a misstep here from 71 Knives. Like, if you gotta, you know, not take the safer city, then you better off follow it up by trapping your opponent's road, and green ends up getting away with a 4-point road. With a large number of curves remaining, it was important to really limit that road to crossroads early on and then continue the block. So for example, what 71 Knives could have done, place this straight line over here, and then on the next move place the curve over here, making the same restriction against green city, but also threatening the fates of the green meeple of this road. Yeah, so in blocking, there are two components. There's the first restriction that delays your opponent's chances to develop the feature or recover the meeple, and in this case, that would be, you know, reducing this square down to a crossroad as opposed to any kind of curvy tile. And the second step is, of course, the complete block, where you go from the other side and, you know, put the other thorn into that meeple, so to speak, figuratively, right? And the earlier we are in the game, the more important is to play the restriction move a bit earlier, just because there are so many tiles to recover that meeple. And especially with a couple of crossroads gone out, such blocks are a bit more profitable than usual. So just only a slight advantage for green here. We can see, of course, how this monastery is being developed. Extra point on the scoreboard, extra point on this road. Now green is trying to get into the city, or maybe just get a city cap tile and try to get himself a winning mini battle, maybe trap this little guy with 1 point and keep this 5-point city for himself. And these small things could add up. Hi, Stephen Chang. So what else do we have in this position? Yeah, this square is a bit annoying because the city really doesn't have too many prospects. I think my best outcome, best high prob outcome that I'm looking for if I'm yellow is something like a quadruple city tile over here and maybe a block on this square. For example, what Nallerheim might do, he actually might just go over here, give a point to his opponent, prepare another monastery over here, and then deal with that blocked or restricted square later, trying for a later block. Another approach is just to leave the square completely empty and be happy with the 7-point monastery versus the 1-point city mini battle. And if you're yellow, you're actually probably reasonably happy with that outcome as well. So let's see what green does here, as red did sacrifice a couple of points for this indirect defense. And it does work in the short term, as green is not able to go over here just yet. Green goes for the even more efficient move. I actually really like this. So starting a new city next to his monastery, pre-completing his monastery, making sure that only the shared square remains to complete. So whoever places a tile here will be completing green's monastery without any guarantee at all that yellow's city will be completed. And green simply starts a new city of his own. Yellow really doesn't have many options here. Actually, this is not true. Yellow has plenty of options, and this is certainly one of them. Starting to bother these two meeples a little bit. Of course, it was also possible to go on the left and put pressure over here. But this move I like quite a bit. Another option, again, plenty of options here. Ooh, such an interesting tile. So we could go over here, try equalize this road. That could be nice, you know, adding a shielded tile into our city, trying to catch up on the scoreboard. Another option is just to go here 2 points and then try to put some pressure on this square further. A third option is simply finishing our road, but I think that's a bit weak, and there are still plenty of road tiles with which we can do that. A fourth option is really interesting. We could actually go over here and try to create a more sensitive situation about this square. It's a bit of a game of chicken. Well, it's a bit difficult to explain. I'm gonna talk you through if red actually does this at some point. But there are lots of merits of placing a triple city tile at the top, because in some scenarios you actually get to defend here and finish the city over here. So we'll get to back to this in a second, as yellow opts for option 1, goes for the highest point scoring move, equalizes the road. Now, yeah, and now he goes for that idea, loving that move over here from yellow. Green, of course, successfully continues his city and blocks the connection of this road. So another winning mini battle for green. 4 points for this road piece, only 1 point for yellow, but that ain't no big deal. Certainly not a game-decisive episode on his own. So the point behind this move. So there are several options. First of all, we could draw a tile that goes here and then protect this square. And then we're sort of kind of threatening to build around like this and then complete this city. Or at the very least, if we protect this square here, which actually we might do now. I think he's really thinking about this. Although, of course, there might be other priorities in the position, such as going here or going here at the bottom. Yeah, so yellow really needs city tiles in a variety of places. He simply chooses to finish his city, certainly a reasonable move. But if yellow were to go here at some point and just protect the square, then suddenly the threats of completing the city becomes real. On the other hand, if Mr. Knives here gets blocked by green, who, by the way, just took 2 points over here with the crossroads. So let's say if green goes here at some point and blocks the square, then what yellow can do is simply go over here with a Dorito with the road and then block this square and obstruct the city as well. So when you make this move, you add to yourself 2 immediate points, and then it's a very, very flexible move that makes sure that you have options. Either you can threaten the completion of the city, or you can develop it into a profitable ruin. Moreover, if you get the last remaining horse tile, like the triple city tile with the road, that fits very nicely over here, then you can block the square, and you can also tie this green meeple to this yellow meeple. Was I saying red all the time? Hi, Elias. Yes, red is not doing that anytime soon. I appreciate when my... Yeah, like, you might think I've been streaming for a couple of years, but for some reason it's just very difficult to call the colors what they are. So anyway, whenever I say red, actually, I almost always mean yellow. Or maybe we could just call them light and dark. Green is dark, yellow is light. Maybe that will be a bit easier. Or maybe we could switch to chess and play with only black and white meeples. Although that would be kind of a bit sad visually. Well, anyway, so let's just get back to the game. So with this Dorito tile, yellow completed the shared city afterwards, shared the extra points with green, and then debated for a while and didn't drop a farm. I think they could have done that quite easily and profitably. Some nice tiles here for yellow, as he's able to build up and finish his city. Green is getting monastery as compensation, still has the slightly winning battle over here. So even game pretty much. New city for Both players in the right-hand part of the board. Haidevaka. We have quite plentiful numbers here. Just shows you how hungry people can get for Carcassonne in a couple of days, which is great, of course. Yeah, so matches haven't been happening a lot because most of the matches have been concluded. For the league, it's just the finals and the consolidated finals that remain after this. So Nallerheim is now threatening the completion of another city. And not that much that we can do about this as the Belgian. But here, we have so many options again. We could meeple a monastery maybe, like this, and then get a straight line. And meeple a 9-point field, and then get a curve. And then get for ourselves this 5-point road. And then this road would expand the field. So that's, of course, an option. Instead, Mr. Knives here chooses to meeple the field straight up, which is a legit move as well, given that this field is already 12 points and will continue to grow. I probably would have preferred the slightly greedier approach, but then also in some cases you get blocked, so it could be not ideal. Yeah, I guess the downside of this move is that it helps out the monastery of green quite a bit. For example, green can now go here, setting up, you know, the usual completion of a monastery with another monastery. Quite a powerful setup, which is difficult to deal with. Could also go here and try to play against this square over here. I don't think it is quite justified given the number of the city plus road tiles available. Still 2 of these guys, for example. Still 1 dagger. So instead, he goes at the top and opts for protection move for his city. And it's double-edged, so the good news after this move for green is that there's only 1 tile, the one remaining starting tile, with which yellow could attack the city to share it. But the bad news is that if yellow gets a triple city tile, yellow could in theory go here and then commit this square to a starting tile and then draw the starting tile. And so that would be a bit of a more elaborate block. But in the short term, this move works really well. Actually, I actually do like it, because yellow just drew the tile with which he could attack his green city, but he wasn't able to attack it because this square was restricted. So case in point why defensive moves like these can work very well. Here, a strategic decision of strategic importance for yellow, and one with which I don't necessarily agree. So he could either defend this square and keep the position flexible, or simply go ahead and block this square. And just make this meeple blocked, and that's it. But once that he defends this square, he wants to keep the threat of the completing this city alive, and this is something that I was even suggesting myself. But the difference at that time is that there were way more Doritos with the road available. Well, now actually Mr. Knives here gets the last one, and he does, well, place it where it belongs. So this idea actually might end up working, but just because that was the last one, that's why this move seemed to be a bit risky. And the idea here is, of course, is build up at the top, build up over here, and yeah, threaten the completion of the city. That's pretty much what it is. And at the very least, what this means is that Nallerheim can't really complete his monastery now safely, because there's still the threat of this yellow city being completed in the future. On the other hand, if Nallerheim draws this Dorito, and then a couple of more Doritos, he could actually go over here close to the end of the game and meeple a 9-point field over here quite safely, because this field doesn't have a lot of access point. I'm talking about this inner field over here, not the outer 12-point field under the control of Carl's meeple. Yeah, so basically what I was saying is that there are some scenarios how Green could, after all, get a farmer here without aiding the city too much. It just depends on the exact order of tiles as they're drawn. As we can see, the monastery setup that I was talking about earlier works like a charm with a bit of help for yellow. Yeah, so this move over here actually like looks strong, and it is okay for sure, but meepling this field maybe didn't have as much urgency as one might think, because there's a good invasion point over here, which is quite efficient, and a couple of invasion points over here as well. So it's not like if we don't meeple this field right now, we will never ever meeple it. But still, the Belgian ahead on the scoreboard. Overall, of course, behind in this position because farm, or road? That's actually an interesting question. Yeah, farmer goes first. But of course, the road will be immediately snatched by the Finn. And it's a good farmer. I mean, it's a farm worth 6 points. It will be worth 9 points in all likelihood. Now we're going to see if Mr. Knives here has any interesting ideas how to thwart this city over here. There are still 3 Dorito tiles that fit over here and 1 splitter tile. So honestly, not the worst move in the world is actually to go here and do a 50-50 block, committing this square to our starting tile, of which there is only 1 remaining. An alternative is to do this later, maybe wait for a curve, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 curves still remaining, and do something like this, just score immediate points, and then hope to get a curve, or a straight line for that matter, to obstruct the square further, but the price for the hesitation is being paid, as Nallerheim does draw one of his 4 outs, and complete his city immediately, and hereby, no, let me do this, okay. From here on. No. Here from? What's the fancy participle? Not participle. Oh my god. Anyway, any native English speakers can help me out here. From here on now? Anyway, from this moment, but in a fancy way. Just try and imagine that I said that word. Henceforth? Anyway, I can't do this, sorry. I haven't been streaming for a couple of days. I'm a bit out of it. But anyway, from this moment, he has the advantage. That's what I was trying to say. As Mr. Knives here has another splitter, and will need to try to mount a comeback. I mean, he has some potential for it. He has his city construction project going on the right, which he could continue right now and threaten the completion here. Okay, thanks for the suggesting. Hereafter, that would be something different. I mean, like from, there was another word. It's like it's on the tip of my tongue. Hereupon? Doesn't sound right now, Napalm, but keep the suggestions coming. Whither is this game going? We will find out soon enough. This one I know I'm using correctly. These old pronouns. They are... Wait, are they pronouns? I should know this. Anyway, like this type of words which starts with there in a preposition, they're so cool. Anyway... Okay, wise man, is henceforth works. Okay, so I did mention that one. Perfect. So, anyway, so one way to come back was, of course, to do something with this city and build it up. Another way was to just drop a dividers in his farm and try to build up some nice farms. The third way, and this is the option that the Belgian has elected, is just to blatantly try and finish this city. There are 2 ways of doing this. We can either get the Dorito plus Dorito combo, so 25% for that, or we can get a Dorito, a triple city, and a city cap. Actually, preferably we can get the city cap first, and then we get the triple city. And also, the other threat on the right, I really like it. So 71 Knives is really putting up a fight here. The 15 points on the scoreboard, of course, are quite the obstacle to overcome. And also these two farmers might get connected in the end, which would reduce their value by 3 points, because this city is currently shared between two farms. Also, yellow needs to take care about this or this square. At some point, we need to invest a tile into actually merging into adding this city into the main field. Sometimes one can simply forget about it, and if one is preoccupied about too many other tasks, then we can just run out of tiles that go there. Okay, now a very interesting situation here. As Nallerheim creates a blocking platform against Karl's city on the right. Karl draws the penultimate Dorito and needs to make a decision. Do we go over here and finish our opponent's monastery but allow more combinations that fit into the square? Or do we go above and go for the 50-50 Dorito? Now, probability-wise, of course, going above is better, just because leaving your square open at the top, it makes it too vulnerable. And for example, had Karl gone over here, green would have gone over here and blocked the square. Now it's not possible. Green now only needs to hope that red does not draw this Dorito, and his hopes will be fulfilled because red is not playing this game. And now finally I caught this myself. Of course, I meant yellow this time. But now I start wondering if actually completing the city is going to be even enough for yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because the remaining Dorito is shielded, so that's quite nice. That's 22 points for the city, 25 because of the farm. Well, that is quite a lot, actually. I think this would put yellow ahead. But green, in the meantime, drops a farmer, at the same time obstructing yellow city, and also having some chances of expanding this farm, adding this city over here, or of course expanding it by virtue of yellow city being completed. And this is still possible. Yeah, one tile still can fit into the square. This is getting really interesting. So Mr. Knives here with a monastery probably is looking to go here or here, which would of course expand his field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's one curve still remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, so one curve still remaining, and that's actually really good for him, because let's say if Nallerheim decides to connect to a farm, then a yellow could still connect the field. So there's a bit of an insurance here at the top. I think maybe Karl was deciding whether it's worth dropping a farmer or like a monastery meeple or not. Decided against that. He still needs his last meeple for quick points, and we can't rely on this tile too much. Although maybe actually meepling the monastery would not have been the worst idea. I like meepling the monastery maybe in this case, because I don't see many other uses. Oh, I guess there are still 3 crossroads. Yeah, so wait, there are 3 crossroads? Okay, there's still like one place to score quick points, but yeah, maybe that wasn't the worst idea. Anyway, so this city gets blocked also in a painful way, as Karl just had the right tile in hand to free up his meeple. But now he could free up his other meeple about it, so that ain't no big deal. Yeah, that's why I would have preferred a monk over here. Just because we're running out of scoring opportunities. Red has already control on the farms, by which of course I mean that yellow has control on the farms. So it is unlikely that yellow will need to drop another farmer, but we'll see that in a second. Green with a crossroad tile could either score quick points by finishing his road and dropping a 3-point farmer maybe, yeah. So he decides that it's time to score just because there's so much potential for meeple recovery. Plus 16 on the scoreboard. City cap for Mr. Knives. Will he expand his field? Will he meeple a new one? How efficient can you get with this tile? So maybe we can like go here, drop a farmer, and then hope to get a city cap, drop another farmer, and then we'll have 2 6-point fields once the city is concluded. Of course, we need to decide how many city caps there are remaining. Well, we don't need to decide that. We actually need to determine that by counting them. And I see one vanilla city cap remaining, so there's still some city scoring options. No dagger tiles. Still, both barbed wires available and one starting tiles. Actually, that makes it city caps aplenty. So starting a new field even, for example, like over here, is not the worst idea. And I'm even thinking starting a new field instead of simply adding a city cap to his old field, just because of the potential of finishing this city, which might be necessary for a Belgian win in this game. Okay, Elias is saying henceforth. Well, so hence means from here. So whence means from where, and thence means to there. It's just kind of a way of saying that in one's word. So henceforth would be, yeah, from here, but like from here when we talk about time. I think that's how it works. Alrighty, so Carl makes a move that I cannot understand. So he takes a 5-point road and helps Green expand his field and drops a city cap in Green's field. So this is a move that scores 2 points for the price of a meeple, because it's +5 minus 3, right? And also gives his opponents a chance to score a 7. Maybe the big idea here is to get a road tile here and a road tile here and try to eat up this little farmer. But I don't think it's gonna work. In order for that to happen, yellow will need to draw way too specific a set of tiles, given that in addition to all this thing, he will need to complete his city and dodge invasions from green. So what's going to happen? Green somewhere, I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to find an option for 100% win. The way you do this, you just look at which tiles your opponent needs, and then you see if that happens, if your opponent gets the tiles that they need, which tiles am I going to draw? So, and then after you answer that question, okay, if I draw those tiles, how can I set up for those tiles to benefit me? And for example, and this is one of those ways, exactly. So you see, green is attacking the field because there's still a monastery remaining, and green is saying, if you're gonna draw all the stuff that you need, you're not going to draw a monastery, and then I am going to draw a monastery and equalize the field. Or if you do draw my monastery, then you're not gonna draw all the tiles that you need elsewhere. So this move, I believe, should secure the game for green, who now could go here in theory. I guess he might be not so keen on giving yellow a meeple back, but these are immediate 7 points, not to be sneezed at for sure. And he might actually just go for 2 points here instead. That could also be a legit move. Yeah, Elias, so in math, I know sort of it's hence is used, but also hence is used to mean as a consequences, but that literally also means from here. So like from this piece of evidence, we deduce the next piece of evidence. So yeah, like from here means because. All right, so 2 points indeed is the Finnish player's choice. 18 points for them. Mr. Knives here gets a 8-point city and a meeple back. 2 tiles remaining. Nallerheim gets a fantastic monastery tile. But is it even good to use it where it belongs? Let me think about this. Yeah, maybe it's actually better to not use it there. Ah. So because if Nallerheim goes over here now, he connects to the field, which looks great. But there's still a curve remaining, if I'm not mistaken. So then Carl can go over here. And then the last tile, I don't think it's a road tile. Yeah, check this out. So the tiles remaining in the deck are a curve. Let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. A curve, a Dorito, and this guy over here. So I think, actually, if Nallerheim connects over here, he might even lose if he gets this tile. There's a 1 in 6 chance of him losing. Again, this kind of depends on the point count, which I don't have quite in my head. Because the idea is, if we go over here and take the 7 points and connect to the field, then yellow can draw a curve to connect to the field and reconquer it, and then we will not have a tile to reconnect. But I think Nallerheim must have counted that he's going to win regardless, and just simply went for the direct points. Yeah, but if Nallerheim draws this tile, then there's really not much that he... Well, I guess he can still score here, so that's kind of nice for him. Yeah, so of course Carl should meeple this. Please meeple this. You know you should meeple this. You know this to be true. The reason why I need to meeple this and take these 2 points is because as your last tile, you're hoping for the Dorito, and with the Dorito, you cannot spend your meeple elsewhere. I know it's counterintuitive to meeple a 2-point road, but the Belgian is thinking about it. I'm pretty sure they're going to find this. And then, yeah, so the idea behind this move, of course, is the fact that regardless of what Nallerheim's last tile is, he won't be able to connect his farmer on the right to equalize. Yes, so he does recognize this. Carl recognizes this. He takes the 2-point road. Nallerheim now actually should go over here. Wait, what? Why would he not add 3 points to his field? This is his field and his field alone. Am I messing this up? No, I'm not. So Nallerheim makes a 0-point move instead of a 3-point move. So it must be a miscount of some sorts, I guess. I guess maybe he didn't want to give a meeple back to his opponent, but what's the problem of giving him a meeple back if he can't meeple the Dorito anyway? Wait, what's that about? Nallerheim scoring for his monasteries, and Carl will get the field? And gets 24 points for the field and wins this game. And the difference is 14 points, but actually now I wonder if this was all avoidable. Because let me think about this for a second a little bit. So first of all, of course, we congratulate Carl with his excellent farming and city building technique in a position which looked really, really difficult for Carl. But first of all, okay, let's just imagine that this tile is over here. So we're getting 3 more points instead of... So we'll lose by 11 instead of 14. And then if we don't place this monastery here... Wait, if we just don't place this monastery here, but instead we place it here for 6 points, can we win? So we have 1 less, so that's minus 12, but we have 6 points more. So that is what? 6 points more, which is... minus 6. But then this city is not part of the big field. So that's minus 3. But then these 2 farmers are not connected, and probably Mr. Knives can meeple something better as his last move, right? This does appear to be the case. So assuming, yeah, Mr. Knives would probably just gone over here and place the tile here. Yeah, I guess it was very, very difficult for Nallerheim to win without the Dorito anyway, so it ended up not mattering that much. And I presume that he figured out that he actually didn't have a 100% win, which does surprise me because his position looked so good. Well, hi Nico, rooting for his teammates. So we have an upset in the making as Carl managed to take a stronghold on the farms and hold on. And are we really one game away from a Champions League without Nallerheim? Alrighty, scoreboard updated. The second game has started. And it looks really good for the Belgian as well, who figured that, you know what, if dropping a farmer helped me, why don't I do that again? Yeah, Wise Mace is saying Nallerheim just needed the curve or Dorito. Yeah, I figured that, because if the fields weren't connected, he would win. Or he would win. Would he win with a Dorito, though? Because he can't score with a Dorito. Actually, wait. I think it was about the curve. Because with the Dorito, Carl managed to score. So he turned a 10-point city into a 22-point city. So that's 12. But he got 3 points for the farm, so that's 15. But he lost 1 for the monastery, so that's 14, actually. So it would have been a tie, which would be a win for Nallerheim, I believe, yes, who was not the starting player. Yeah, so that's true. Is true indeed. Yeah, so again, there was no 100% win for Otto there, and he just took the chances that he took, just didn't get the tiles. Alrighty, time to put that game behind us. Interesting move from the Belgian. Actually, I kind of like it. At least it works out like a charm in the short term. Ideally, of course, you make these moves with cows rather than Doritos, but in the short term, it works out nicely, as Nallerheim is not able to go over here and complete this flower-shaped city. In the long term, I don't like making these moves. It's too much of a point sacrifice. It's actually very easy to defend. If we get any sort of city cap, we just go over here. We very nicely cover up, and this square is actually very difficult to access. It just happens to work this time in particular. And as yellow, we're also sacrificing these 2 points over here that we could have been adding to our own city. But yellow decided that, you know, all these shields are too much of a threat. Let me deal with the city right now. But of course, this threat, it wasn't like a game-decisive threat or anything. So we have quite the fireworks in this position. So 8 points for the monastery. 4 points for a road for each side. The gambit of 71 knives pays off as he does get a tile to attack Nallerheim city. And he's going to do it right now. A big interesting part in this position is this hole over here, which is shaped like a road monastery. So whoever gets the first road monastery is going to have quite the advantage, which is why Nallerheim decided to invade the main field very efficiently. He now will not even need to place any tiles for invasion. Whoever is going to get a monastery tile, they will place it over here, and then the two fields will be unified. So much so that it's not unreasonable here for green to drop another farmer, either here or here on this side. And also the advantages of this move would be that there's a chance to build a longer road like this. Yeah, we can see that he does exactly this. And the Belgian had invaded the city. He now continues the city of his own, but a move that he could have considered is like going here and dropping a counter farmer on this side. Nallerheim now successfully equalizes the city of yellow, donating 1 road point in the process. Mr. Knives with a curvy tile has a chance to complete his monastery, which sounds like something worth doing. Then later we could go over here and invade the field like this. Another possible move is going over here. There might be good reasons for blocking the square. So for example, this would discourage green for using the splitter over here. Green with a city cap, and that's interesting. Is it worth attacking this city and trying to run over? No, he decides it is not. And I believe in the long term he's actually correct. It was a possibility to invade over here. But putting pressure on the square certainly seems like something worth doing, especially since all 8 big tiles are still in the game. A sequence of 2 triple city tiles is not at all unlikely. And Mr. Knives does not draw a defense. He has 5 extra points on the scoreboard. And Carl decides to invade the city, and he succeeds immediately. As he first of all chooses to take care of the rightmost point, denying Nallerheim the chance to draw a Dorito and equalize over here. On the other hand, this move keeps this space open for a little bit longer, which could result in a blocking sequence. And this is exactly what Nallerheim's trying now, but Mr. Knives gets a tile, which is wonderful for them. Of course, they're not going to place it here to separate. They are going to go over here and cover the square up, leaving free options that fit into that square. It looks like we're headed into a game that's going to be quite difficult for Green. Green has meeple troubles already because he will need to invest another meeple into trying to invade over here because we can't leave the city alone, and there are still too many city plus road tiles remaining in the deck, so blocking is not going to cut it. We'll have to invade. Now, I think the main thing that Mr. Knives is thinking is whether to meeple the new city cap or just leave it empty. It's a subtle decision. I'd probably earn this on the side of leaving it empty, actually, given that there are more high-scoring spots on the board. Nallerheim, of course, will... Oh, interesting. He chooses to complete the city. Yeah, of course, that makes way more sense. He's now trying to invade over here. And Mr. Knives gets a city cap to cover up this sensitive spot. And he'll have an 88% chance of completing what I believe is going to be a 26-point city. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 26. So it's extremely difficult for Green, but Green's going to fight. You know what actually Green can do? Green can score some quick points. For example, going over here is not too bad. Going over here is also an option. Decides to go for the direct points. And these 2 monastery spots, that's the big hope for Green. Another thing that Green can do is get a curve and meeple this 4-point road and really putting all his faith into this square. Then if he does this, he'll get not only a 9-point road, 9-point monastery, but also a 5-point road. Speaking of roads, this one is not getting completed anytime soon as an extremely annoying move from the Belgian has been played, restricting the square quite severely so that a straight line does not go over here, and at the same time helping his own road at the top. Also, if yellow draws a vanilla city cap, of which there are 2 remaining, then he can go over here and block this square completely. Now, Nallerheim is preparing, bracing for impact, dropping every bit of compensation that he can for this city. So, for example, now he pre-meeples this 9-point farm. I'm saying 9 point because, of course, it's currently worth 6 point, but it will be worth 9 once the 3rd city is completed, and denying Carl to draw farm with tempo. Carl with an extender tile probably can go over here, start a new city, also clean off a city cap in Nallerheim's field. He should feel in control. So, what is Carl gonna do? Given that he's thinking about this, he's really not too keen on the idea of starting a new city, but it's actually safer than it might seem, and he agrees with us ultimately. Starts it. Nallerheim with a scoring tile. Probably wants to take 2 points over here and not in the other spot. No, not in the other spot. Not in the other spot. I think this is a slight miss because there are some scenarios how we get to complete this road close to the end of the game, and if that happens, then we might meeple this little piece of ruin, and by completing this road over here, we make this piece of ruin worth more. Another thing about this move, I don't necessarily like obstructing this square. I think the idea of getting a curve here and meepling it and going over here is still in the cards. So maybe we don't want to be blocking here. I want to keep the square as open as possible. So these small things which could add up, I'm not sure if that's going to make all that much of a difference. As a stupendous lead for 71 knives on the scoreboard after he completed an 8-point city over here and a big city over here for an early meeple recovery. Nallerheim, of course, blocks Carl's road just in time as Carl would have finished it and start a new monastery, but of course he'll do something else with it. Look at this spot. Now the Belgian is the first to draw the monastery, and without that coin flip, I think we're about to see our upset. Yeah, actually, as Nallerheim, maybe taking this monastery wasn't the worst idea, because then we would still have a meeple, and then we could get this tile and so on and so on. So maybe our position was this bad. But actually, it's still a game, because Mr. Knives got 9, yellow got 5 for the road, and the game is still on. But the problem now is that yellow, of course, will go here, meeple an 8-point monastery, controlling Green's road, and that's gonna be quite disappointing for our Finnish fans. But he's not going there yet. I mean, like, when you're this much ahead of the scoreboard, you just take those points. You don't leave those options to your opponent, because, like, if you don't go there, Green can go there with the same tile, and Green will, because there's still like this. Yeah, so this move I'm going to criticize quite severely, just because when we're thinking from a win percentage standpoint, strategically, it's just not a good idea to place so much emphasis on the field. Because if you go over here for 8 points, first of all, you guarantee yourself 8 points. You equalize your opponent's meeple, so basically you can just cancel out this guy and this guy, right? It doesn't matter whether the road or the monastery gets completed or not. And so as yellow, you have a 6-point road, you have a 33-point lead on the scoreboard, that's 39. Green has 3 cities on the farm here, 12 cities on the farm here, so that's 21 points. So you're going to be ahead 18 points, and you're going to still be up 1 meeple, because each of the farms required 1 meeple to occupy, and the second farm... Oh yeah, and of course, this road required only 1 meeple to occupy. So that would be just a fantastic situation to simply stay out of the field. Now, the second issue with this move is purely tactical. It takes immediate 3 points instead of 9. Instead of 8. So that already makes it a problem. And also, this could very likely be a 0-point meeple, because Green's going to fight. Like, Green's going to, of course, reinvade the field through here or through here and still preserve his majority. And finally, as yellow, or generally as the player with a big lead, yeah, you don't do stuff like this. Okay, so it seems to me that Carl decided that finishing the match in 2 games is a bit too much. Let's make it 3 games, and now he's trying to do everything to make this interesting in a situation where it doesn't have to be interesting. So dropping a farmer and leaving an 8-point city up for grabs, especially when your opponent has 1 meeples, you really want to deny them these easy scoring points. So yellow is playing as if he's behind, which he's not. He's ahead. Of course, he now gets a splitter tile, which gives him 6 points and a meeple back. Now, will Nallerheim get a tile of his own? And he does not. So that's going to be quite tricky for him. Let's see if he can manage to get out of that situation here. He might. Yeah, but another problem with this move, so just to complete my rant here, is the fact that it allows for a deadly combo for Green. If Green draws the last monastery in one of the 2 starting tiles in any order, he's going to be getting 9 points for the monastery and completing this road, which also worth, by the way, 9 points. So with 18 points extra on the scoreboard, it will actually, and all this field control, I would already start favoring Green almost. Green's now trying to do something very interesting, so he's not able to do anything with this meeple. Yellow, of course, connects to the field, but Green finally finishes his, and that's the question, road or city? He goes for the city first, because the city was also likely to be blocked, and he's now also getting farm points as well, only minus 22 for Green on the scoreboard. The farm at the top is also about to grow. We're going to get 1 more road tile, and this farm will grow to 15 points. Moreover, not easy to attack at all. So, yeah, Green can really do this. Also, Yellow created another evil hamster spot over here for 9 points, potentially. And yeah, so there are like potentially 20 points lying around for Nallerheim in this position. Monastery here, the last starting tile. All completely doable. And these 2 fields will be equalized, but he's going to have the 15 field at the top, which outscores the 6-point road. So this combo will put him at like +7 or something. Mr. Knives, with a blocking tile, should probably go over here. That would probably serve him well. The idea is that we actually want to block this square here to make sure that green doesn't have an easy access to this field through here, and green is actually forced to win the coin flip for the road monastery. Hi, Daniel. Regardless of how this game ends, I think it's just generally quite instructive because you can see that green has winning opportunities. And if you just place this monastery over here in the center, then green doesn't have winning opportunities. It's kind of like as simple as that. You see, so yellow now drops yet another farmer. And green now drops another farmer and completes the roads. Now there will be only one coin flip in question. That will be for this 9-point monastery, of course. I even doubt if this is where we want to use it. But this should seem like enough for green. What is the situation at the moment? So 15 points is the scoreboard difference, 17 after this move, and 6 points is the road for Mr. Knives. So 25 points overall, possibly 5 points, 15 points later over here. And then this field, well, who knows what happens to it. Yeah, now it actually seems like this tile could decide the game. So here, Nallerheim's winning chances are like somewhere between 25 and 40%. That would be my estimate. But then also, like, this does not mean that yellow will necessarily lose. For example, like, if yellow draws the road monastery, yellow just wins on the spot as well. And green still is going to have difficulty at the top because he has not yet developed this field to 15 points. And he will still need to protect it from invasion. And I doubt that there will be enough tiles to cover all his bases. Maybe just going over here, adding another green square is not the worst move, given that a couple of city caps are remaining. He decides to draw a third farmer. Is that enough for a green? I guess the idea of this move is not to have a super majority on this field, but to have a 12-point field over here and an 18 and a 6-point field over here, and then deny yellow a move like this. Because, like, if yellow goes over here, it's not just that yellow's threatening to equalize the field. Yellow is simply claiming a 6-point field, which is the biggest field that there is. Wisemaze was suggesting a monastery move over here, preventing a field connection block. Yeah, that could work. Okay, so Carl makes a move which does not seem to have a lot of consequences. Nallerheim, what's gonna Nallerheim do? Going here, probably completing the connection seems like it's worth it. Yeah, okay, so no, because after that we have a clear winning plan. We go here to unify all the farmers. Or maybe not. Maybe we go here to unify the farmers, and then here, and then try to leave this guy empty-handed. Well, certainly playing against this farmer seems like it's worth it. And now Mr. Knives has a variety of moves, so he can either go here, try to connect to the monastery, or at least make sure that this meeple cannot connect to the main field through the monastery without also bringing this guy in. Or he can go over here, obstructing the square and making it more difficult to block completely, preserving his chance to draw one of the 2 remaining straight lines that fit into that square. An alternative is just to forget about this altogether, take the damages, and simply unify the 2 fields of Nallerheim over here. Instead, he chooses to unify a different set of 2 fields, which I'm not a fan of, because like in the short term it does the same thing. It makes Nallerheim lose 3 points, but why not make him do that here? Because now Nallerheim's idea of overrunning the field 3 versus 2 looks more feasible. A move that we might see with the city cap here, maybe, not the worst idea. Or perhaps we're trying to be very efficient and build up a new field on our own and just drop a city cap in our field at the top. Instead, we do see a block over here, and it looks like the game from henceforth, the game will be all about that road monastery tile. Actually, that's a great question, Elias. If yellow draws the monastery, what does he do it? It actually doesn't matter that much, because like yellow can score 9 points. And then this should outrun Nallerheim, I think. Just because yellow can score 9 points somewhere now, yellow is trying to finish a city. But I think he'll be denied with this move over here. Or at least severely restricted, if not completely denied. But wait, but what kind of city caps are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are no daggers remaining. There is 1 starting tile available, and that's it? Wait, so there's only 1 city cap, right? Am I not hallucinating? I don't think I am. Or did I just start forgetting what kind of tiles there are in Carcassonne? No vanillas, no splitters, no daggers, and 1 starting tile. That's everything that I happen to see. Oh, so there isn't a point necessarily going over here, actually. Because this wouldn't narrow down the options for yellow. Or is there maybe a Dorito plus Dorito combo to finish a city like this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, there is. So maybe going over here is not that bad after all, but actually that wouldn't narrow down the options either, because one of the remaining Doritos is a field Dorito, and the other Dorito is also... Wait, there's 9 Doritos, never mind, there's only 1 Dorito remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, so there's only 1 Dorito. So going over here will not matter necessarily, and the 1 remaining Dorito is a Dorito with a road anyway. Minutes on the clock for Nallerheim, who just continues his road. Mr. Knives probably going to go over here, unify Nallerheim's field if that is the route that he has taken. Maybe Nallerheim could have gone over here, actually, but he decided to postpone that. Of course, now the move that we're going to see from the Finn is going over here, making sure that the starting tile is of no further use for the Belgian. No real use for this curve, other than blocking this city completely. And this is exactly what we see, and look at this, Mr. Knives gets a starting tile, just a move too late, but it's not too shabby for them either, as 4 points will be obtained by the Belgian, and at this score, they could definitely matter. I've lost track of the score a little bit. But let me think. So it's going to be... yeah? Like this? Okay. Maybe he just wants to develop his city a little bit further. Or maybe he wants to... Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that move is about. Maybe he has miscounted the tiles. Maybe he's hoping to finish the city anyway, but he shouldn't. I don't fully understand this, because this move, for example, what it does, it creates an attacking platform over here. But then you don't really want the attacking platform because this field is controlled with a supermajority. 3 versus 1. There are no splitter tiles to create a 10-point city. And this move obstructs this square. And this square will be more needed by whom? That's a good question. I guess the square will be more needed by green than yellow if yellow draws the monastery tile and green will need to connect to the field like this. But then if red draws if yellow draws the monastery tile, then red probably wins just because the monastery scores so much. So let's have a look. 17 on the scoreboard, plus 6, 23, plus 3, 26 points, plus 3 more. That's 29. Interesting move, actually. So Nallerheim, adding this city over here, what this does, it creates a field connection opportunity, which I'm not sure if that benefits him. Obviously, he didn't want to go there in order to not grant additional points to Mr. Knives. Yeah, the reason why this move creates a field connection is because if somebody gets a road tile that could drop a farmer and connect to the main field through the one and only remaining road Dorito. So maybe Nallerheim tries to have a plan how he could win without the road monastery. Maybe that's what it is. Although at this score, I don't see that happening necessarily. Okay, so we count 26, right? So 15 points on the field, that's 11. And currently, Nallerheim has 12 here. And this 3-point farmer compensates this 3-point farmer. So, oh no, that's a 6-point farmer, never mind. So currently, like as it stands, given that all fields are not connected yet, I see that the Belgian is only leading by 2 points. Now by 4 after expanding his city. A curvy tile by Nallerheim. Still, everybody's waiting for the road monastery. Do we go over here to prevent our opponent from getting a couple of points here? Do we go over here to connect the field? That shouldn't matter. Do we go over here to block the field connection that we just created and to just make the game come down entirely to the road monastery and nothing else? He does complete the field connection, and Mr. Knives gets the monastery. But this move gave immediate -3 to Nallerheim. So let me think about it. So 71 Knives is at +7. So I think actually in order to win the game, he just needs to do something simple, like maybe take 4 points over here. Okay, so he does take 9 points. This increases the size of the field, but Nallerheim now has a chance to invade through here, except not with this tile, and that is kind of sad. So yeah, I think the Finn was definitely setting up an invasion opportunity from the right. But he now realizes that this will not be possible and just rolling over. Yeah, so the idea that he had is that still after the road monastery, maybe he could draw this tile, which of course to rub it in, Carl now uses to score some points. He could use this tile, drop a farmer, and connect like this. And we will see that, yeah. So he goes over here. Of course, he won't get any points for that. Mr. Knives is going to get a 5-point road in addition. And all I want to check is, would this reconnection have been enough? I don't think so. It would have helped Nallerheim with 15 extra points because this field's worth 15. But this monastery was just scoring way too much. A 6-point ruin is the final word of Nallerheim in this game. GG is saying 71 knives. GG saying Nallerheim. Probably. Well, the last time we're going to see Nallerheim on stream in a long time, as they are eliminated from this tournament in just 2 games. And we congratulate Carl for being able to get to the consolidated finals. They're now 1 match away from getting into the main field of the main stage of the league. You know the deal. Tense games indeed, but they didn't have to be. Yeah. So the second game, kind of after the city, I felt was entirely under Carl's control, and then just by creating all this volatility, by creating all these evil hamster spot, the Belgian really risked it slipping away. And at some point, I think, briefly towards the end of the game, Nallerheim might have had an even above 50% chance to win. That might be a bit of an overstatement, but I think like very close to 50% for sure. Whilst Yellow could have taken care of business way earlier, but of course it's way more exciting for us when games are close, and I appreciate that Yellow must have been thinking about the viewers. Then there was another option. It kind of seems that this city over here, so what's Carl ended up doing, he just simply did the thing that Green didn't do. Invasion over here. Now it's very difficult to decide whether that was a mistake or not by Green's part. I don't think it was. I actually liked this Green over here. So he did try to reinvade the city. It's just then later Yellow recognized that all the 7 possible connection tiles, so once he invaded here, all the 7 possible tiles with which he could invade were still in the game. And so he decided to just do it. And it must be also frustrating to lose when you don't make a move because you think it won't work, and then you leave the opportunity for your opponent, and then your opponent makes that move, and then it does work. So I'm speaking, of course, about this invasion move that ended up completing the most game-decisive city for Carl. Well, certainly Otto did not go down without a fight in either of these games. Tough losses, and I'm pretty sure they're going to come back strong in the Mindsport Olympiad. But yeah, we're going to start the new season of the Champions League without one of the strongest players. Hi, Carl. Congratulations on the victory. Oh yeah, and also, of course, thanks, Timrak, for reminding that this was actually a rematch. So 2-0 for Nallerheim the first time, 2-0 for 71 Knives this time. Oh yes, Elias, yeah, so the idea, of course, for setting up the reinvasion from Nallerheim was nice, but you're correct in saying that this would not have been enough. Had he been successful like this, then this ruin would have been free to be occupied by Yellow, and that would have all but covered the point difference between the 15-point field. Well, yeah, actually, because this ruin is worth 10, so it's almost 15, really. So after this road monastery over here, there was no path to victory for Nallerheim, as lovely as this field connection setup was to begin with. Alrighty, let's just look at the bracket real quick. I mean, this is what we are going to expect. 71 knives against me got no skill. I know we're not going to see it today because Carl plays only one duel per day, but hopefully going to see it tomorrow. That would be nice. Ideally, if you could maybe somehow schedule it to a time which would be like very close to the other match, that would be so fantastic. So what we're having tomorrow, let's just have a look. So there's my match against Miss Penguin. That's 1300 UTC. I will need to be focused for that, so I will not be streaming. 2000 UTC. You bet that I am going to stream Lord Terrycloth against Daniel Ayala. And there are a bunch of other matches, so we will find out soon enough when we're going to have the consolidated final between Carl and the Australian player here. Then a couple of other decisive matches that have not been scheduled. Lithuania, Japan, United States, Poland. Still yet to be seen. So there are going to be a couple of streams in the next couple of days, probably at a short notice, so make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay up to date about the streams. Oh, 1900 UTC would be fantastic tomorrow, because then we get to watch the entirety of this match and then the majority of the British players' match as well. Make sure to maple the like button, by the way, important for the algorithm, more than one might think. And that's gonna be enough for today. Congratulations again for all my Belgian fans. Commiseration for all the Finns watching this. Wait. Let me just update the score too, because I keep forgetting that as well. Yeah, here's the shiny 2 next to 71 Knives screen name. And now that's going to be over. Tomorrow there's going to be a stream. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm going to see you soon.